All right, guys. Here we are recording again. Yay, videos. Lesson 1 of Chapter 9 is Area of Parallelograms. Parallelograms. You'll notice the word parallel. Oops, come back. Okay, so I'm a little bit out of touch. Let me see if I can do better. Notice that parallelograms as the word parallel in it. So that's going to be a key to understanding what a parallelogram is. All right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vocabulary words. Go ahead and write them down right now. Polygon, parallelogram, rhombus, base, height, and formula. And we will get those definitions in just a minute. Go ahead and pause the video so you get them all written down, please, and then start it back up when you've gotten your list. Leave a little space in between each one so we can write about them. All right, area of a parallelogram. The area of a parallelogram is the product. What's the product? Multiplication of its base and its height. So here it is in symbols. A equals base times height. A in nice big letters. This is the base. B stands for base, and H stands for height, and capital A stands for area. Let's remember what the area is. The area is the surface area that it covers. So for instance, if this blue rectangle up here, it's a parallelogram, was carpeting, it's the amount of carpeting that we would need to cover the floor of our classroom, okay? You'll notice that the base is labeled here, B, and the height is here. We talked about this in class a little bit yesterday, or today, whichever time you're listening to the video. I guess it would be today. And the base can either be here or it can be here. It doesn't matter. Okay, either one is the base. The height is a perpendicular line. A perpendicular line. Remember that symbol means perpendicular. Line off the base. It is not this. Not this. That is not the height. The height is this perpendicular line off of the base. Okay? So understand what the height is. That's the trickiest thing about this formula. All right. Now let's look at this a little more closely. The base is in the parallelogram again. Can be on either side. It can be here, or this could also be thought of as the base. It doesn't matter. They're going to be the same length, right? And you could turn your parallelogram. Let's see if I can draw this. What if we rotated this parallelogram this way, and it ended up looking like this? Then this would become the base, and we would have a different height, wouldn't we? Okay? But that would still work for our formula. The height is always the perpendicular line. It's the perpendicular distance off of the base. Okay, so the base, we needed to, you can define by saying a side of the parallelogram, right? And I'm going to show you an abbreviation for parallelogram that you're all going to love. See that symbol right there? That's a math symbol for parallel. So shorthand for parallelogram would be to write those two lines and write the word gram. Parallelogram. You like it? Good, I thought you would. Okay, so that's a parallelogram. So the base is one of the sides of the parallelogram. The height, by definition, is the perpendicular. That's the abbreviation for perpendicular. Do you like it? Isn't that nice shorthand? So let me write that someplace. That equals perpendicular. Write that in your notes, guys. Okay, that symbol means perpendicular. This one means parallel. Okay, so the height is the perpendicular distance. How do I want to say that? Yeah, the perpendicular distance from one base to the other side, from base to other side, to the opposite side. Let's say opposite, not other. To opposite side. Okay? All right. Base is the side, one side of the parallelogram. The height is the perpendicular distance from the base to the opposite side. Okay, let's find the area of the parallelogram. Here we have a parallelogram on a piece of graph paper. Let's count and see what is the base, question mark, and what is the height. All right, I'm going to have this be my base. And I'm going to count how many squares, how many units that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the base is 6 units. Whatever those units might be, I don't know. And the height, right, is a perpendicular line off of the base. So it's this guy right here. Here's our height. This was our base, all right? So our height is how high? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So our height is 8 units. All right? If we have to find the area, we're going to use our formula. A equals the base times the height. So I'm going to substitute in that number for B and that number for H. A equals 6 times 8. So A equals 6 times 8 is 48 square units. Because not only have we multiplied the 6 and the 8s, we've multiplied the unit and the unit. So now we have square units. Over here you'll notice it talks about area measurement. Area measurement can be written in abbreviations. We can use, so square units can be written as units squared. Square inches can be written as inches squared, and feet squared, feet, and blah, blah, and so on and so on. So you get the idea. All right. So I'd like to see you do these 2 problems, please. And we will put these, maybe we'll put these up on the board in class. Pause your video, do the problems, write your formula. Oh, guess what I'm going to say next? Show your work. Okay, what does that mean? First thing I do is I'm going to write A equals base times height. So what's my area? And then I'll substitute in whatever the base is, some number, times some number, and then I'll get an answer and a unit. Okay? Show your work, guys. Oops. Do we have 2 of those slides? We do. Well, ignore that one. All right. Formula. Formula is an equation that shows the relationship among certain quantities. And we've been using the formula, oops, come back here. We've been using the formula A equals base times height. So that is an example of a formula. It shows a relationship. We're talking about the relationship between the base and the height in a parallelogram. All right. So let's try this. Find the missing dimensions of the parallelogram. Well, here's our parallelogram over here. I'm going to get rid of this for a minute. I actually might make this, ooh, come back here. Goodbye. Erase. Okay, thank you. I'm going to make this parallelogram a little bigger for us to look at. Okay. All right. And come on over here, buddy. Oops, not that far. Okay. All right. Now, in this one, we know the area. We know a base. But what don't we know? We don't know the height. Okay? We don't know what h is. Okay? So how can we're going to use our formula to find this missing dimension. So here is my formula. A equals a base times the height. I know the area, and I'm going to plug it into here. So 45 equals the base What's the base? It's 9 times the height. That's what we don't know. That's our variable. All right? So we have used our formula, and we have an equation now that says 45 equals 9h. Oh, how do I solve for h, guys? Let's go back to our chapter on equations. I need to get the variable all by itself. So what am I going to do? I'm going to divide by 9, because this was a multiplication equation. 9 over 9 cancels out. H equals, what's 45 divided by 9? 5. So my answer is the height is 5 inches. Okay? Got it? Guess what? It's your turn. So do C and D. And remember, you can check your work, which it mentions over here, by replacing whatever you found. For instance, in our last problem, right, we ended up saying that h equaled 5. That's what we found out. So I'm going to go back and see if does 9 times 5, does that equal 45? Yes. So it checked out. So you can do the same with these, okay? Good luck with this, guys, and we'll talk about it in class. Okay, Ramilla is painting a replica of the national flag of Trinidad and Tobago for a research project. Find the area of the black stripe. Do you see that black stripe is a parallelogram? Can you see that, guys? Let me draw this separately way down here. Do you see that parallelogram? Yes, and its base is 6 3/4 inches. This little thing like that, when you say that, that means 3 inches, okay? All right. The height is, the perpendicular line is way over here. And if you look, it is 12 inches. That is the height. So to find the area of just the black part, just this black part right here, you would go A equals the base, 6, and I'm going to change that to a decimal, 6.75 times 12. And you can punch that into your handy-dandy calculator, and you get a number. And let me go find my handy-dandy calculator, because I didn't have it with me. And I turn it on, and 6.75 times 12 equals 81. So 81 what? 81 square inches. Or you could say 81 inches squared. It means the same thing. Okay? All right, guys. I think that might be it for us for tonight. So that was a fairly short video. Applaud, yay. And we'll go over these in class. Okay? Thank you.